Crash on Zerina. The sky was burning red when the human dropship crashed on Zerina. 5. Jackson, a young human soldier, opened his eyes to smoke, fire, and pain. Alarms were screaming inside the wrecked ship. Broken metal and shattered glass were everywhere. The rest of his team was gone, either dead or missing. He was alone. Outside the ship, the air was thick and heavy. The sky looked strange, like it was bleeding light. Dark trees with glowing blue leaves stood tall, and strange creatures moved in the distance. Jackson limped out, his leg injured, his face covered in blood and dirt. His mission was over. The war was lost here. But Jackson wasn't ready to die yet. He grabbed what he could, a small energy blade, some water, and his last ration pack. Then he disappeared into the jungle. For days, Jackson moved through the alien forest. The plants hissed when he touched them. Flying insects buzzed above, some with eyes too many to count. He slept in caves, drank from glowing streams, and kept his ears open for any sound. He knew he was being hunted. Alien patrols passed by sometimes, their tall silver armor flashing between trees. Jackson always hid, silent and still like a ghost. His food ran out. His wounds burned. He was getting weaker every day. On the 5th night, as he sat under a giant red-leaf tree, he heard a sound behind him. He turned fast, blade ready, but froze. Standing just a few steps away was a girl. Not human. She was tall, with purple skin, and silver hair that floated like mist. Her eyes were wide and bright blue, glowing softly in the dark. She wore light armor but no weapons in hand. Her expression was calm. Jackson didn't move. Neither did she. Finally, she spoke in clear English. "You're not from here." He didn't answer. She tilted her head. "You don't have to be afraid." He frowned. "I'm not afraid." She gave a small smile. "You're hurt, starving, hiding. That sounds like fear." Jackson lowered his blade a little. "Who are you?" "Kalira," she said. "I live near this place." "Then why didn't you call your army? I'm the enemy." She stepped closer and pulled something from a small pouch. It was a fruit. Round, golden, glowing softly like a tiny sun. "Because I don't see an enemy," she said. "I see a man who's dying." He stared at the fruit. It looked strange, but it smelled sweet. His stomach growled. "What is that?" he asked. "Selmarin," she said. "Only our kind eat it. It's rare. Special." Jackson raised an eyebrow. "Then why give it to me?" She looked at him with a curious smile. "Taste this, human. It's better than anything on Earth." He hesitated. Maybe it was poison, maybe it was a trick. But his body was tired. His mind was foggy. And the way she looked at him didn't feel like a lie. He reached out slowly and took the fruit. Kalira sat down across from him, watching with interest. Jackson bit into it. The taste hit him like fire and ice. Sweet, sharp, alive. He had never tasted anything like it before. His body felt warm, then cold, then warm, again. His head cleared a little. His muscles relaxed. He looked at her. "What is this doing to me?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she said softly, "Now we wait and see." He blinked. "Wait and see what?" Kalira stood, looking into the forest. "Whether you're worthy of it." Jackson stood too, confused. "What does that mean?" But she was already walking away. "Stay hidden," she said over her shoulder. "They're looking for you. And now, they might be looking for me too." Then she was gone, vanished into the glowing forest. Jackson stood alone again, the taste of the fruit still on his lips, and deep inside him, something had started to change. Her strange eyes watched him. Jackson didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. The strange golden fruit still burned in his body, not like fire, but like something alive was moving inside him. His breath was deeper. His vision was sharper. Every sound in the jungle felt louder, closer. But what scared him most was not the changes in his body. It was the girl, Kalira. She had disappeared into the forest like a shadow, but something told him she hadn't gone far. Her voice still echoed in his head. Now we wait and see. Wait for what? Was it a test, a trap, or something even stranger? He sat with his back against a tree, blade in hand, watching the jungle. Hours passed. Then, without a sound, she appeared, again. No footsteps, no rustle, no warning. Just those glowing blue eyes in the darkness staring at him. Jackson stood up fast, blade ready. But she didn't move. You feel it now? She said softly, stepping closer. What did you give me? His voice was sharp, filled with suspicion. She tilted her head slightly. Not poison, not a drug. It's called Zelmarin. It doesn't change your body. It reveals what's already inside. Jackson didn't understand. What does that mean? Kalira came closer, close enough that he could see the silver pattern on her skin. It shimmered like stars under moonlight. My people believe the fruit chooses the soul. If you are weak, it destroys you. If you are strong, it wakes something inside you. Jackson narrowed his eyes. And you just happened to give it to me? She smiled. No, I followed you since your ship crashed. I watched. I waited. I saw something in you. Something different. He didn't like that. You were spying on me? I was learning, she replied. You fight like a soldier, but you survive like a predator. You do not give up. Even when your body was breaking. Jackson didn't respond. He hated how calm she was, how she made him feel like she knew more about him than he did. Kalira sat down on a stone, her eyes still fixed on him. You are not the first human to crash on Zyrina 5, she said. But you may be the last one left alive. He stepped back slowly. Why are you helping me? There was a pause. Then she said quietly, because I want to know. What happens when a human becomes more than just a human? The words hit him like thunder. What did you say? She stood again, now serious. The Zelmarin is not just sacred because of tradition. Long ago we discovered that when given to a non-Zyrine, it unlocks something ancient, rare, powerful. It only worked once before, and that was with your kind. Jackson stared at her, stunned. You're saying, this happened before? She nodded. 50 years ago, one human, one fruit, he disappeared into the jungle. When our warriors found him later, he wasn't the same. He destroyed an entire hunting party alone. Bare-handed. He vanished after that. Jackson felt the weight of her words. The tension in his chest grew. What do you think is happening to me? Kalira stepped closer. Her eyes were glowing brighter now. I don't think, human, I know you are changing. Suddenly there was a sharp sound, like metal grinding against stone. Both Jackson and Kalira turned fast. Movement in the trees, then a flash of red. Light shot past them, burning into the bark behind Jackson. They found us, Kalira said coldly. Jackson gripped his blade. Who? My people, she replied. But not friends, not soldiers, hunters. And they're not here to ask questions. She grabbed his arm and pulled him into the shadows. Come with me, she whispered. If they catch you now, they'll kill you. But if they see what you've become, they'll do worse. Jackson ran with her, deeper into the glowing jungle, heart pounding. As they disappeared into the darkness, he felt something shift again, his footsteps lighter, his breath silent, his senses sharp as blades. He wasn't just running, he was becoming something else, and behind them hidden eyes were watching. Not all of them human. Not just a fruit, the jungle was alive with whispers. As Jackson ran behind Kalira, every sound in the forest spoke to him. The rustling leaves, the distant growls, the snapping of twigs. It felt like the jungle itself was breathing with him. His legs moved faster than before, not just from fear. It felt natural, like his body already knew the path. He jumped over roots, ducked under low branches, and didn't stumble once. Even the pain in his leg was gone. Kalira led him to a narrow cave hidden behind a wall of glowing vines. She pulled him inside just before another red beam of light blasted past them. They crouched in the dark, breathing heavily. Outside, the hunters were searching. Jackson leaned against the cold stone. "You need to tell me everything now." Kalira looked at him. Her glowing eyes had changed. Darker now. Serious. "You weren't supposed to change this fast. The fruit, it's reacting to something inside you." "What does it want?" he asked. She hesitated. "Not the fruit. The thing inside you." Jackson stared at her. "What are you saying?" Kalira stood slowly, walking deeper into the cave. He followed. In the back of the cave, there was something carved into the wall. Strange alien symbols, glowing faintly. And in the middle, a shape that looked like a human figure, surrounded by fire. Jackson moved closer. "We have stories," she said, "ancient ones, about beings who were not born from our world or yours. They were made from war and fire, weapons in the form of life." "What does that have to do with me?" he asked. Kalira turned toward him. "Some say humans carry a fragment of that forgotten power. Most live and die never knowing. But when the right key is used—" "The fruit," Jackson whispered. She nodded. "It opens the door." Jackson shook his head, trying to understand. "You mean, I'm some kind of weapon?" "No," Kalira said quietly. "You're something older. Something even we feared." Outside, the sounds of the hunters grew closer. Jackson looked down at his hands. They felt different, stronger. But it wasn't just strength, it was focus, clarity, like something was guiding him. Then he heard it. A voice. Not Kalira's. Not the hunters. Inside him, a whisper. "You are not prey." His eyes widened. "Did you hear that?" Kalira looked at him carefully. "Hear what?" He stepped back. "A voice inside my head." Kalira didn't look surprised. "Then the awakening has begun." "What do I do now?" Jackson asked. "You survive," she said. "Because once they realize what you are, they won't stop. They'll send more. They'll send all of them." Jackson looked at the wall. Again. The carved human figure, it was glowing brighter now. So was the symbol on his chest, something ancient, something powerful. A sudden explosion shook the cave. Rocks fell from the ceiling. "They found us," Kalira said, drawing a curved blade from her back. Jackson grabbed his own. "Then let's see what I've become." As they stepped out of the cave together, the jungle lit up in fire and light. Hunters dropped from the trees, eyes glowing red, weapons drawn. But Jackson didn't feel fear. He felt the power rise inside him like thunder. His vision sharpened, his hearing focused, his body moved before he thought. In a flash, he dodged a plasma bolt and slammed into the first hunter, breaking his weapon in half with one strike. Kalira stared, stunned. "How did you—" "I didn't think," Jackson replied. "I just knew." More hunters came. But this time Jackson didn't run. This time the hunters were afraid. And deep within him, the voice spoke again. "You are not prey. You are the storm. The truth she hides." The jungle was quiet again, broken armor and scorched. Trees lay behind Jackson and Kalira. The battle was over, for now. Jackson stood among the fallen, his hands shaking not from fear, but from something else, something deeper. His strength was real, his speed, his instincts. It wasn't luck anymore. He had become something more. Kalira watched him in silence, her face unreadable. She hadn't helped during the fight, not because she couldn't, but because she wanted to see what he would do. And now she had her answer. Jackson turned to her. "What aren't you telling me?" She didn't respond. "You said the fruit was sacred. You said only your people eat it. So why give it to me?" He stepped closer. "What do you want from me, Kalira?" Her eyes lowered. Then finally she spoke. "I lied." Jackson stared at her. About what? Zelmarin is not just sacred, she said softly. It's forbidden, and I'm not a simple traveler. Was a high daughter of the Zareen Council. Jackson's eyes narrowed. A princess? She nodded. I was raised to protect our laws, to hate your kind, to believe humans were dangerous, wild, violent. And now? Kalira looked up at him, her voice trembling. Now I know we were right. And wrong. She walked to a fallen tree and sat, her hands trembling. 5 years ago I saw something. A vision. It came during a ceremony with the elders. A burning sky, a broken world, and in the center, a human. Jackson frowned. Me? I didn't know then, she said. But the face haunted me. Every night. And when your ship entered orbit, I knew. Something inside told me. He is the one. Jackson's voice dropped low. What was the vision really about? Kalira hesitated. Then, she said, a war, not between humans and Zyrene, something far worse, something ancient waking again, a being that once tried to control both our worlds. The elders called it the Void Father. They sealed him away, but that seal is breaking. Jackson stepped back. And what does that have to do with me? You're the key, she said. Or the weapon, maybe both. He clenched his fists. So you fed me that fruit, hoping it would turn me into something that could stop this thing? She nodded slowly. Yes. He looked away, anger boiling in his chest. You used me. No, she said quickly, standing. I believed in you. I chose you. Why me? He asked. Why not someone from your own kind? Kalira's voice softened. Because you feel everything, even pain, even fear, but you keep moving forward. Our people lost that a long time ago. We became cold, controlled. You are fire. Jackson didn't know what to say. The silence between them was heavy. Finally, she reached into her cloak and pulled out a metal disc. It glowed faintly with red and gold lights. What's that? He asked. A map, she said. To the tomb of the Void Father. If we go there, you'll understand more. You'll see what must be done. And what happens if I can't stop it? He asked. She looked into his eyes. Then both our worlds burn. Jackson took the disc, staring at the symbols. He didn't understand them, but somehow he felt them. They pulsed in his hands like a heartbeat. And for the first time, he understood something terrifying. His crash wasn't an accident. He wasn't just a survivor. He was chosen. By fate. By prophecy. Or by something darker. Suddenly, the jungle shook again, this time from deep underground. Jackson turned. What was that? Kalira's eyes went wide. He's waking. The Void Father, Jackson whispered. We have to move, she said, grabbing his arm. The map will show us where to go, but we don't have much time. As they vanished, into the trees, Jackson looked back once. At the battlefield, at the ruins of the hunters, and at the blood on his hands. He had become something else. But the real test hadn't begun yet. The truth was out now. But so was something else. And it was hungry. The forbidden bond. The deeper they moved into the jungle, the more the world changed. Trees became taller, their roots twisting like living creatures. Strange lights floated through the air, silent and slow, like lost spirits. Every step Jackson took, the ground seemed to pulse beneath his feet, like the planet was alive and watching. Kalira walked ahead, silent and tense. The glowing map disc in her hand guided them, its symbols shifting like liquid fire. She hadn't spoken much since they left the battlefield, but Jackson could feel her eyes on him when he wasn't looking. He felt it too. The tension, the pull. Something was growing between them. Not just trust, not just survival. Something forbidden, something dangerous. They stopped by a cliff that overlooked a black valley. In the middle stood a giant stone structure, half temple, half machine. The disc pulsed harder in Kalira's palm. We're close, she said quietly. Jackson nodded, his gaze fixed on the temple. What's inside? Memories, she answered. Truth, maybe even power. They made camp near the edge. Jackson lit a small fire. They ate in silence. Then, Kalira finally spoke. We are breaking the law of my people just by standing together like this. Jackson looked at her. Why? Because touching a human, feeling anything for one, is considered betrayal. He raised an eyebrow. So you're saying what we're doing now, just talking, sitting here, it's illegal? She didn't answer, just looked at him with a strange sadness. You knew the risks, he said, and you still helped me. I didn't expect to care, she whispered. But here you are, and I cannot stop this feeling. Jackson didn't know what to say. The words felt heavy in the air, too real. He reached out slowly, not touching, her just holding his hand near hers. We don't have to name it, he said. But whatever this is, it matters. Her hand moved closer, but before they could touch, the ground cracked beneath them. A deep rumble rolled through the valley. They jumped to their feet as red light rose from the temple. What's happening? Jackson shouted. Kalira's face turned pale. The seal. Something's disturbing it. Disturbing it? Or breaking it? She didn't reply. Jackson grabbed his blade. Then we go now. They ran toward the temple, moving fast through the jungle. Creatures fled as the earth groaned louder. Black mist began to rise from the valley, cold and thick. It stung Jackson's skin. Even Kalira winced. The air smelled like ash and metal. When they reached the gates, the disc floated from Kalira's hand and inserted itself into a carved slot on the stone. The door opened with a deep growl. Inside, silence. They stepped into the darkness. Ancient walls glowed with faint red symbols. They passed rows of statues, tall, armored beings with blank faces. Not Zyrene, not human, something older. Kalira looked at one statue closely. This is what came before, she said. They tried to rule both our worlds. The Void Father was their king, and we're waking him up, Jackson muttered. They reached a circular chamber. At the center floated a crystal coffin. Inside it, a figure, humanoid, but wrong. Its skin was gray, almost stone-like. Its face was calm, its eyes closed. Its chest didn't rise or fall. Yet. Jackson stepped forward, drawn by something he didn't understand. Kalira grabbed his wrist. Don't get closer. If it senses you. But it was too late. The eyes inside the coffin opened. Black, endless. And in that moment, Jackson saw something. Visions. A burning earth. Zyrene cities turned to dust. A sky full of screaming stars. And one figure in the center of it all. Him. He stumbled back, breathing hard. I saw it, he whispered. Everything. Fire. Death. Me. Kalira grabbed his shoulders. You saw a possible future. Nothing is written in stone. But what if I'm the end? He asked. What if I'm not the hero? She didn't look away. Then I will. Still stand with you. The moment held between them. Stronger than fear, deeper than blood. Jackson leaned his forehead against hers. This thing between us, it's dangerous. So are we, she whispered. Behind them, the black eyes in the coffin blinked once more, and a whisper echoed through the temple. You will serve, or you will burn. The bond was now more than forbidden. It was their only hope. Trial by fire, the temple was no longer silent. The air inside had changed, thick now, humming with power. Every wall began to glow with pulsing veins of red light. The stone floor vibrated under their feet. Something ancient had opened its eyes, and it was looking straight at Jackson. Kalira stepped in front of him, blade drawn. We need to get out. But Jackson didn't move. His eyes were locked on the coffin. The figure inside was still, but the whispers had returned, filling his head, his chest, his bones. You are chosen, shaped in pain, made for war. He dropped to one knee, gripping his skull. Kalira rushed to him. Jackson, fight it. Don't listen, he gasped. It's not just talking to me, it's inside me. Suddenly, a flash of red light exploded from the coffin, throwing them both back. Jackson crashed into a wall, but he stood fast. Blood ran down his forehead. His muscles ached. But the voice only grew louder. Show me your worth. Show me your fire. The chamber began to change. The walls pulled back into darkness. The floor turned into black stone, glowing with fire beneath. Jackson looked around and realized this wasn't the temple anymore. He was somewhere else, a trial, a forge, alone. No Kalira, just him. And it from the shadows stepped a creature. Not flesh, not metal. Something in between. Tall, armored, with a cracked mask over its face. It held a blade longer than Jackson's entire body. The voice echoed again. Kill or fall. Jackson raised his blade. The moment he did, the creature charged. Their weapons clashed with thunder. Jackson was thrown back but rolled quickly to his feet. His instincts screamed at him, but he moved with strange grace. Every strike the creature made, Jackson blocked. Barely. But the thing was strong. Too strong. Jackson's arms shook, his knees bent. He roared and pushed forward, slicing the creature's leg. Black mist poured from the wound. The creature hissed and vanished into smoke. Jackson panted, confused. Then he heard the voice again. Pain is your teacher. Rise or be broken. Another figure emerged. A woman this time. Zyrene, wearing royal armor. Her face looked familiar. It was Kalira, but not the one he knew. Her eyes were black and she attacked without hesitation. Jackson refused to raise his blade. You're not her, she slashed at him, fast and merciless. You're not real, he shouted, but she cut across his chest, leaving a deep wound. Blood poured. The pain was real. He dropped to his knees. Then, deep inside, he heard another voice. Soft. Familiar. Kalira's voice. You are more than a weapon. You are human. Remember who you are. Jackson looked up. The fake Kalira raised her blade. He whispered, I'm not afraid of you. And this time, he didn't block. He stepped into the strike and caught her wrist. Her form shattered into smoke. He stood alone once more. The coffin appeared again before him. This time it was empty, and in its place stood a figure wrapped in shadows. Tall, faceless, powerful. The Void Father. Jackson raised his blade again, but the shadow raised a hand. No, attack just words. You can be my vessel. Serve me, and I will give you peace, power, purpose. Jackson's breath slowed. He remembered his crew, the crash, the hunters, Kalira risking everything. He shook his head. I already have purpose, and it's not yours. The shadow leaned closer. Then you will burn. Jackson smiled, blood still running from his wound. I already did. He struck. The light exploded, and the trial ended. He woke on the temple floor, gasping. Kalira held him tightly, her face full of fear. You were gone, she whispered. You stopped breathing. For 2 minutes, Jackson looked into her eyes. I saw it. The void, the offer. I said no. She closed her eyes in relief. Then you passed. He sat up, muscles sore, body trembling. He's not dead. But now, he knows I won't serve him. Kalira helped him stand. That means he'll try to destroy you, she said. He can try, Jackson replied. But this time he's not facing a soldier. He looked at her, voice low. He's facing two. Their hands joined, one human, one Zyrene, a bond born of war, and ready for the final battle. Better than Earth, the sky above Zyrina 5 was no longer still. Clouds of black and red swirled in angry circles. The jungle trembled beneath them. Lightning struck across the sky in strange, silent flashes. Something ancient was waking, not just in the ground, but in the hearts of every living thing. Jackson stood at the edge of the temple platform. his body still aching from the trial. His wounds burned, but he didn't fall. His hands were steady, his eyes focused. Behind him, Kalira stood silently. They both watched the dark horizon. From it, a storm was coming. The Void Father's voice echoed like thunder across the valley, no longer just a whisper in Jackson's mind. It was everywhere now, in the wind, in the earth, in their bones. You chose to defy me. Now, you will see what comes of that choice. From the sky descended a massive shape, twisted and impossible, a creature made of black fire, armor, and pure shadow. It moved like a god, slow and certain. And everywhere it passed, the jungle died. Kalira whispered, "He's fully awake now." "Then we end it here," Jackson said, stepping forward. But Kalira grabbed his arm. "You don't have to do this alone." He looked at her. "If something happens to me, then it happens to us," she said. "This is no longer just your fight, Jackson. It never was." He nodded, then turned toward the storm. The battle began without warning. The Void Father raised his hand and the sky cracked open. Lightning of black energy fell from above, striking around the temple. Stone shattered. Fire erupted. And yet Jackson didn't flinch. He ran straight toward the monster. His blade glowed, red and silver, pulsing with the same power he felt during the trial. Each step he took burned, but he kept going. Faster, harder. Kalira moved beside him, her blade spinning in fluid strikes. She moved like she was dancing through danger, and together they reached the heart of the storm. The Void Father looked down, unimpressed. "You are dust, both of you, brave, but broken." Jackson raised his sword. "You talk too much." They struck. Metal met shadow. Fire met flesh. The battle shook the valley. Jackson slashed across the creature's arm. Black mist poured out. Kalira stabbed into its leg, spinning away just in time to dodge the counter. But the Void Father was powerful, older than any war, smarter than any soldier. He raised a pulse of dark energy that threw them both across the temple. Jackson hit the ground hard, coughing blood. Kalira screamed his name, but he didn't rise. The Void Father stepped forward. "You could have ruled, Jackson, with me. Now, you die forgotten." He raised his massive hand for the final strike. But then, Jackson laughed. It was quiet, painful, but real. He stood up slowly, wiping blood from his mouth. "I was forgotten the day my ship crashed," he said. "But I didn't die then, and I'm sure as hell not dying now." Kalira ran to his side, helping him up. He looked at her. "You told me your people believe the fruit chooses the soul," he said. She nodded. "Yes. Then maybe it chose right." He kissed her, fast, fire-lit, and then turned back to the storm. His body glowed now, not with magic, not with power, with choice. He threw his blade into the air. It shattered mid-flight, releasing a burst of energy that tore through the creature's chest. The Void Father screamed. Kalira added, her strike plunging her own blade through its heart. The creature staggered and Jackson whispered, "Taste this!" With his final push, he drove the glowing fruit core, still inside his armor, into the wound. The Void Father roared as the light consumed him. Then, silence. The sky cleared. The jungle stopped shaking. The monster was gone. Jackson collapsed. Hours later he woke. He was lying in soft grass. Kalira sat beside him, eyes full of light and tears. "You lived," she whispered. He smiled weakly. Barely. They sat together as the first real sun in days broke through the clouds. Peace had returned, not just to the land, but between their people. Kalira looked at him. "Will you stay?" He nodded slowly. "I tasted your world. It's better than Earth." She laughed quietly, resting her head on his shoulder. And for the first time in a long time, Jackson felt like more than a soldier. He felt home.